I kind of feel like this unmanipulated narrative comes from a oversimplified and over-romanticized version of what we think Africa was like now and even back then. Hello everybody and welcome to Hair Talk Tuesday, where I sit down and detangle my hair while I talk about something interesting that's happening in the natural hair community. If this sounds like something you like, definitely stay tuned to the very end of the video because we're talking about something very interesting today. If you like this type of content where I talk about commentary and product reviews and things like that, definitely subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos that I upload every single week. Great. So now that you subscribe to my channel, we can get into this video. What prompted this video is, I don't know if you guys saw that tweet on Twitter, because that's where you can tweet, saying basically that wanting to do baby hairs or just baby hairs in general is rooted in texturism. And I saw a really interesting tweet under that tweet basically saying like over manipulating your hair is bad. And when she said over manipulating, she's talking like braid outs, twist outs, bantu knot outs, flexi rod sets, basically just saying like we're doing those hairstyles specifically to mimic mixed girl hair or looser curl textures. And the reason why we do those hairstyles is rooted in us hating our own texture, and that's why we always try to change it and always try to do something to it. You know what, I'm gonna just show the tweet so you know what I'm talking about, so you can see it firsthand. Okay, so to some degree I understand where this person's coming from. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like there aren't people out here in the world who hate their natural curl texture and isn't doing everything under the sun to try and change it or manipulate it or, you know, make it look something or do something that it can't naturally do, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that texturism isn't a huge issue within the natural hair community or even in the black hair community in general. But I still disagree with the statement, and here's why. Why does manipulating your hair have to automatically mean you don't like it? Like, does anybody find that weird? That like, it's like, oh my God, you do things to your hair, so that means you must hate your hair. What about doing your hair, doing stuff to your hair, doing a wide variety of things to your hair automatically mean you hate your hair texture and you're trying to change it? Like, does anybody else think that's a weird like conclusion to make from people trying different hairstyles that are cute? I don't agree with the idea that the only way to show acceptance of your hair, the only way to basically be like, I'm proud of my hair, is to just not do anything to it. I don't agree with that sentiment, and I'm going to explain in more detail later as to why I don't agree with it. Like, the tweet made me want to reflect on like, well, Jasmine, why don't you wear your hair out? And I actually came up with some legitimate reasons as to why I don't do it. So one, my hair, well, right now it is, but before right now, because I just got my hair cut, my hair shrivels up into a mushroom. Like, if my hair, like, when it shrunk, became like an oval or a circle around my head, I would be more willing to just put product on my hair and go. Not like how we usually think of a wash and go, but like more so like I will put product on my hair, let it dry, and just go. If I had short hair, I probably would do that. But I just feel like my hair is too long for that. Because, oh my God, like, I'm just thinking about the tangles, really, honestly. I'm just thinking about how easy it would be for my hair to just tangle up. Like, if I leave my hair alone long enough after a braid out or twist out, my hair tangles up. And it gets harder and harder for it to detangle for the next wash day. And then when I do detangle, I'm ending up ripping a lot of my hair out because just the tangles. Like, that's one reason why. It's the tangles. Oh my God. If we could alleviate tangles from the world, then yeah, I'm more likely to just be like, product, let's go. But no, I have tangles. So therefore I have to do things to minimize those tangles. Another reason why, like, the idea of just like putting product and go, and I'm not talking about like a wash and go when you're actively trying to like define your hair. I'm talking more so just like throw on some product and go. Another reason why I don't really see myself doing that, and I don't feel like it is healthy for my hair to do that, is because the style doesn't last. When you do a braid out, twist out, other natural hairstyles that require you to over manipulate your hair, those styles typically last longer. And they also typically moisturize your hair for longer, which is a good thing. Because if your hair is moisturized for longer, that means that you don't have to do your hair as often, and that means that your hair's not breaking at a faster rate because your hair's drying out too quickly. So like, that's another reason why I don't like to just throw on product and go. It's not the most healthy thing to do. Or it's easier for me to moisturize my hair when I actually do a style than when I just like put product in. Like, I just feel like the product evaporates or something. I don't know. Ooh. I have a lot of gel on my hair right now. And like, I don't know why it's making this difficult, but it is. And there's also some talk about stretch hairstyles are also healthier for naturals than like hairstyles where your hair, you know, shrinks back up. Also because of the tangles and just retaining lift. So like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of reasons as to why like just putting your product and going isn't necessarily a good thing, and doing stuff to your hair actually, you know, helps maintain the length. I don't get it. Like, can we please stop acting like our hair doesn't need a lot of maintenance? Like, please, 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 please. Especially if you're lower porosity. It's going to take a lot more effort for you to get product into your hair than someone who has middle porosity or high porosity. Like, unless you have middle porosity, like, you're going to be doing a lot of work. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to do. Not like a lot, but like, it's not just as easy as a quick wet hair, put product in and go. That's not feasible for anybody who doesn't have middle porosity hair. So like, it's okay that things take us a long time. It's not bad. Our hair is really, really delicate and requires a lot of tender love and care. Like, it's like taking care of a child. You have to learn it, which takes time and a lot of energy. Like, why are we pretending like this isn't a thing? Another thing I thought of when I was like creating my thoughts for this video is maybe I'm biased. Maybe I feel the way that I feel because I have been natural basically all of my life. I never had a relaxer, never had a perm, but I had really bad heat damage because I used to get my hair straightened every 2 weeks when I was like in middle school. And then one day my hair just never reverted back when I washed it. That was my hair journey, but that happened in middle school. I didn't recently start my natural hair journey. So that kind of led me to think like, maybe I feel the way that I feel because I've had 10 plus years dealing with my hair, learning about my hair, and accepting my hair. And maybe people who haven't been natural as long and haven't had like a good natural hair journey, like maybe this statement is more for those people. For people who are just starting or people who are still lost, even though it's been a couple years that they were natural, like they don't have the same type of acceptance as I do with my hair. So when I say, oh, I manipulate my hair, it's because like health reasons, like it's actually physically better for my hair because of many years of experimentation and knowing what works and what doesn't. There's people out there who don't have that. So when they manipulate their hair, it's more rooted in like trying to change it to make it look a certain way. I guess that's fair. But I still don't think the best way to combat that issue is to shame them out of doing those type of hairstyles. I feel like we should come up with something else. I feel like we should come up with some other way to like encourage people to love and accept their hair without shaming the hairstyles that they try. I don't know, something to think about. And another thing I kind of want to bring up, it might be a tangent, I don't know. I kind of feel like the reason why people are so against like doing things to their hair and like manipulating their hair to show that you truly accept your hair kind of comes from like people thinking that like back in the olden days when we were all in Africa and before we were all enslaved, that ancient Africans didn't do anything to their hair, so therefore why should we? They just, you know, put stuff in their hair and went, and so we should follow that to be our true authentic black selves. I don't know. That's what it always comes off to me as. And the reason why I bring this up is because ancient Africans spent a lot of time doing their hair. Like, I was reading this book, I'm gonna show you right now. I brought it for this video. hair story, Untangling the Roots of Black Hair in America, but it kind of starts off talking about like how we did our hair before we were colonized, and then like kind of what happened after we were colonized. But basically, according to this book, ancient Africans actually, like, doing their hair and hairstyles were a very integral part of society. Their hair represented so many things, and they would spend hours and sometimes days on it. Hairstyles meant very important things. Like, it can mean your marital status, it can mean your ethnic background, it can mean your religion, it could represent like your social ranking, it could represent like your wealth in society. Hairstyles were important, and hairstylists were highly regarded people in the community of, I guess, pre-colonial Africa, or at least in West Africa. I can't speak for the entire continent, but at least in West Africa, where they specifically talk about in this book. I kind of feel like this unmanipulated narrative comes from a oversimplified and over-romanticized version of what we think Africa was like now and even back then. Like, to think that like Africans were really just walking around not doing anything to their hair, personally, I feel like it's kind of disrespectful. If you truly want to be like how we were before, you know, slavery started, then spending hours and sometimes days on your hair would more so be the way to go than shaming people for doing said thing. Just want to point that out. I don't know. I just felt like that was important to bring up because even in the Black Power movement in the 70s, where everybody was wearing afros, they still manipulated their hair. They still, like, to get the type of afros that they were getting, your hair had to be stretched. They weren't walking around unstretched afros. They weren't walking around shrunken afros. They were walking around with braided up afros, and then they picked it out once it dried. Like, that's still manipulating your hair. You're still doing stuff to your hair. And it probably, depending on how much hair you had, it probably took some time. I mean, granted, my dad judges me for doing all this stuff to my hair, but my hair is significantly longer than his hair back then when he was rocking his afro. So like, you also got to keep that in mind. Like, some people got a lot of hair. Even the time period where you would think like, oh, this is Black acceptance, this is the pinnacle, the goal to achieve in terms of like Black acceptance is accepting your hair, even they still manipulated their hair. Like, I don't think we reject colorism or texturism or racism by not manipulating our hair. I don't think those things correlate. And if anything, I feel like the notion that Black hair needs to be unmanipulated to, you know, thrive and, you know, be healthy, I think it's also kind of rooted in the idea that Black hair is hard and woolly and tough, when in actuality it's very soft and delicate. It can break very, very easily and requires a lot of tender love and care. And in trying to not manipulate your hair so much so that you maintain your true Blackness, kind of, you know, could also be problematic if you really think about it. But that's another conversation for another day. Over manipulation in the way that the tweet describes it, because there is a way that you can over manipulate your hair and it be bad, like when you're just doing too much and you're just ripping it out. But in the way in which the tweet was describing over manipulation, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't. Over taking care of your hair, especially in the beginning of your natural hair journey when you're learning it and you're trying to understand its ticks and like what works for it and what doesn't, over taking care of it could probably be a good thing. You'll learn about your hair faster than if you were just doing the bare minimum. I want to bring awareness to like how the natural hair community just shames people for or for not wearing their hair a certain way, and just like bringing up that like there isn't one specific way to show that you accept and embrace your natural hair. There isn't one specific way to love your hair. There isn't one specific way that everybody should and has to wear their hair. And this video is also not to discredit how prevalent texturism is. It's just that I want us as a community to think of other ways in which we can get people to accept their natural hair without shaming them, to just like encourage acceptance, encourage self-love, encourage them to keep doing and trying and learning their hair, instead of just like being like, oh, you're not supposed to do that, and making people feel alienated from the community and not wanting to be a part of the community. But that's all I have for this video. I hope it was really interesting. I really hope that there's a lot of conversation in the comment section. So definitely leave a comment below answering these following prompts. Whether you agree with what I'm saying, why or why not? What are ways people can learn to embrace their hair without having to shame someone for the type of hairstyles that they do? And finally, why do you think people are pushing the narrative behind unmanipulated hair is better. Just curious what you have to think. Make sure you like this video, especially if you like this type of content, so I know to keep making it. Great, cool. That is all I have for today. I'm about to start my wash day routine. So see you guys in the next video. Bye.